right wing doesn't talk about two states, two countries. We want all of Eretz Israel, all of the Torah, and we want all of our enemy out of here.
As the elections race in Israel heats up, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu surprised allies and adversaries by teaming up with two far-right political parties. These two parties include the pro-illegal settler ultra-right-wing Zionist Jewish Home and the neo-fascist Jewish Power parties. Benjamin Netanyahu's right-wing Likud political party reserved the 28th spot on its parliamentary list and granted the new alliance 2 ministerial posts in addition to 2 seats in the security cabinet. Jewish Power is comprised of extremist religious ultra-nationalist Zionists and are successors to the banned Jewish Defense League. The Jewish Defense League was founded by American-born Rabbi Meir Kahan and is considered a terrorist organization by the FBI. In fact, 2 members of the Jewish Defense League attempted to bomb a California mosque back in 1972. Upon hearing the decision, the Jewish Home Party, which supports illegal settlers and settlements on internationally recognized Palestinian land, welcomed the decision.
רציני בכוונותיו, ואני רוצה להאמין למילים שלו אמש, הרי שאני אומר כאן לראש הממשלה. אנחנו מסירים ברגע זה את כל דרישותינו הפוליטיות, ונתייצב לסייע לך.
Bennett had previously broke his alliance with Netanyahu's Likud party after Netanyahu dissolved parliament and called for early elections late last year.
אני מניח שאני אשלם מחיר פוליטי מסוים בשעות הקרובות, בימים הקרובים, לא נורא, נתגבר, you win some, you lose some.
Among the prominent figures in the joint Jewish Home, Jewish Power list are Bezalel Smotrich, a self-avowed extremist Israeli, Itamar Ben-Gvir, an attorney who has made a career defending radical Israeli settlers implicated in West Bank violence, and Benzi Gopstein, leader of an extremist anti-assimilation group whose Twitter handle translates to Kahan was right. Baruch Meir Martzel is also a politician from the far-right Jewish Power political party. He was the leader of the terrorist Jewish National Front party. This is him on local Israeli TV calling for Arabs to leave their homes.
We're not a wing. We think that right wing doesn't talk about two states, two countries. We want all of Eretz Israel, all of the Torah, and we want all of our enemy out of here.
These are supporters of the Jewish Power movement. Here they are participating at a ceremony calling for the rebuilding of the Jewish temple, which is now the site of the Al-Aqsa Mosque, the third holiest site in Islam. The event took place in occupied Jerusalem Al-Quds.
The Jewish temple has not been yet built, so we have to do something now just to practice. We want to practice this year, so next year we'll be ready.
Benzi Gopstein is also a prominent leader of the Israeli extremist right group Lahava. In late 2017, he was arrested with 15 other suspected Jewish extremists following an undercover investigation into a group accused of tracking down and threatening Arab and Jewish men and women seeking to marry. Speaking to reporters at his hearing at a magistrate's court in occupied Jerusalem Al-Quds, Gopstein said that he was arrested for telling a Jewish woman she shouldn't date an Arab man, insisting he did no wrong.
שאמרתי לבחורה שאם תמשיך לצאת עם ערבים יקרו לה דברים לא טובים ושהסבא וסבתא שלה בשמיים מוחים על זה והאשימו אותי אפילו שנתתי לתיקון הכללי. זה האשמה הכי חמורה כרגע שנתקעתי בה.
According to him, he won't stop what he's doing either.
אמרתי לבחורה שהיא לא צריכה להיות עם ערבי, על זה מאשימים אותי, זה האשמה הגדולה. אני אחראי על פעילים, ארגון להבה.
The Lahava group terrorizes Arabs, Muslims, and Christians whenever it can in Israel and inside occupied territories. A district court in occupied Jerusalem Al-Quds ruled that Yitzhak Gabay, a 24-year-old member of the ultra-nationalist Lahava group, had along with two accomplices set fire to a Jewish Arab school.
בית המשפט ייחס חומרה יתרה על עבירות שמבוצעות על רקע אידיאולוגי ולעבירות הסתה בפייסבוק. הוא קבע שהעבירות המתוכננות בוצעו כאן על רקע אידיאולוגי מתוך מטרה להפר את מרקם היחסים שבין ערבים ליהודים, במיוחד שהקרקע בוערת, מתוך כוונה לפגוע בערכים של שוויון וערכים של כבוד האדם ודו-קיום בין יהודים לערבים בישראל. אנו סברנו שהעונש היה צריך להיות מוטל על הנאשם, צריך להיות חמור יותר.
Hateful graffiti on walls of churches in occupied Jerusalem Al-Quds are common in this part of the world. Jewish extremists have for years vandalized non-Jewish property or property belonging to other beliefs, including Christianity and Islam.
They have also graffiti on the doors or the other door, and this is our wall, and so we have an ecumenical victimship, especially you can see here. So this is our monastery. You have here graffitis here on the door, but you have also here, this is a Greek cemetery you have here. So both sides are full of graffiti. So you see here, it's a hand.
Yes.
You can see here the sword, a sword full of blood. And that's really, if you illustrate death to the Christians, this is a very serious thing.
In this specific case, a Palestinian mosque was vandalized with graffiti on the wall in Hebrew reading Arabs, "Get out of Israel." The return of fascists to Israeli politics comes as no surprise. Israel's foundation is based on extremism, fanaticism, and terrorism. Expulsion of the original Arab or Palestinian inhabitants of Israel was on the lips of Israel's first prime minister and other founders of Israel. Intermarriage has never been possible in Israel, albeit without the threat of incarceration. Campaigns for a greater Israel backed by public figures from across the political spectrum, including the right-wing party of Benjamin Netanyahu, have been around since Israel's inception into the Middle East in 1948. Israel has been in the process of de facto annexing the occupied West Bank for years, through a combination of demolitions, evictions, land expropriations, and settlement building.
Is that the existence of the state of Israel, it always was criminal and basically, you know, how you label it, if you label it fascist or, you know, dictatorship. Of course, it's control. It's a criminal entity. And so that was the way was of theirs was like other dictators and criminal entities did, was by vilifying and really and disqualifying the people who are their subjects by claiming that they were either liars, that they were not being oppressed, or claiming that they were criminals. And that's what Zionism was from day one. I mean, they had the audacity to state that it was a land without a people, for a people without a land from day one. But since there was more and more news coverage, so that was proved to be a blatant lie, and that it was the Muslim population, as we always state, as religious Jews around the world, that the Muslim population was the largest. And then there was the Christian, then there was the Jewish, who were of course anti-Zionist communities. But the Zionists came with this narrative for many, many years, and the world believed them that it was a land without a people.
The current ultra-right-wing Zionist trend in Israel is not about to end anytime soon either. A recent poll by the Times of Israel noted that 51% of Israelis expect ultra-right-wing and right-wing Zionists to continue overwhelming Israeli politics. Another poll by Israel Television News Company further showed that Netanyahu's Likud would win in the election were it held today with 27 to 31 seats in the Israeli Knesset or parliament. It also showed that his ultra-right-wing coalition would win 6 to 14 seats in parliament. Many in Israel believe that the upcoming elections is critical as it can dictate the future of Israel. Netanyahu's Likud party has for decades conquered Israeli politics and may soon play a less prominent role unless it comes up with a last-minute surprise.